Was that film session just a regular film session? Any kind of different messages or mood over that period?
Nah, just a normal assessment of how we played and what we need to do different, and adjusting to their adjustments and all the stuff that you go through in the playoff series. Is frustrating knowing how the first half went. We had a lot of good things happening. Up 11, 7, some change left. And then they go on a huge run and get the crowd into it. And, it's kind of just the vibe you get on the road when every possession matters. So just a reminder of that. But the frustrating part is you let one, not to say, if we handle that second quarter, we automatically win, but you let that momentum evaporate and then just made it a little harder on ourselves, and now we got to bounce back. But there's a lot of confidence we can do it.
How do you break down what happened in that second half of the second quarter?
Turnovers led to fast break opportunities. They got to the free throw line way too much, and that just changed the whole vibe. Like, it's a possession here, a possession there, especially when you have control of the game and control of the tempo on the road. It usually has a trickle-down effect to literally everything. Who's getting shots, their confidence in making them. You build up stops, and then you start to create even more separation. Like there's just a reminder of how important it is to win at this level on the road against any team, and we let them get to their strong comfort zone, a strong suit in their comfort zone in terms of free throws and that pace, setting up their defense, and change the whole tune of the game.
Do you think that you guys lost your poise a little bit in that quarter?
Yeah, I'd say last night was a lot of self-inflicted wounds across the board, and you hate that you have to keep learning that lesson at this stage of the season, but we did, and now it's about how we respond. It's been our MO for a very long time, and like I said, there's a lot of confidence in that. No matter how frustrated we are, that we let it slip yesterday.
Do you sense that Jordan is having a frustrated series, maybe even a frustrated postseason, and how could he channel that into something positive?
From game to game, there's always, I guess a report card on how you play, and for him, it should just be about what he feels. It shouldn't be about what anybody's saying about his game. We are all extremely confident in what he provides for us, what he can do out there, and keeping it positive is just how you approach the game. And that's what I love about him. He has great energy, and making or missing shots, it's going to happen. But the other things that you can do to impact the game, and I know he's been putting a huge effort in that. So it's just a matter of sticking with it, because you'll get rewarded in the big picture, and especially because we do have a lot of confidence in what he provides for us and what he's capable of doing.
So over the course of the last postseason, have you noticed any unexpected ways that your increased strength has been able to help you?
Just handling different defenses and matchups that I see. The endurance part of it too, just being able to take physicality and play through it, use it to my advantage, and just not get tired. So it all matters. It's the volume of work of trying to maintain my level that I'm at.
You feel like your conditioning is better now than it was?
Yeah, for sure.
In the recent past, you and Draymond made it clear that you love Loon in the starting lineup, or at least as the base structure. Is that still kind of the way you think? I'm not trying to ask you what you are suggesting for this next game, but just generally that lineup. We know the 5 best overall rating in the NBA this year.
There's always been an opportunity to kind of experiment a little bit, knowing how teams guard us. We have those 2 bigs out there. Our offense kind of, has ups and downs, and that's part of it. But defensively, that's usually our best lineup. And I know all the numbers kind of speak to that, but the beauty of our team and the value in Loon, especially just knowing he can play a lot of different roles in terms of whether it's a starter, whether it's coming off the bench, the different lineups he's out there with. Like he accepts all the responsibility and of what he's asked to do, and that's what we love about him, because it doesn't change the way that he plays. I don't know what it'll look like moving forward throughout the series, but I just know that whoever the 5 guys that are out there, and knowing that Loon's going to be a huge part of that, and has to be a huge part of that for us to win, that's going to matter. So it changes quickly just because teams make adjustments, and that's what happens within a series.
Steph, you always talk about your championship experience, and you guys have won a lot over the years. Was there a series or a moment in this run that's like, hey, we overcame this, we can overcome anything? Because you've won a lot, and you've won a lot of different ways, but is there one that sticks out to you in Clay and Dre's mind, like that was a moment that, like, we can do anything now?
I mean, there's been a lot of them. Talked about Memphis, the very first run that we had, to Houston in 17 and 18 for different reasons. Memphis last year, Game 4 in Boston last year. Like there's a lot of things you can kind of tap into in terms of experiences that we've had where we've been on the road, kind of against the ropes, and we've responded. This is in a very similar situation. But it will require something different based on this team, and I'm excited about that opportunity.
Steph, along those lines, since you guys have seen everything, the officiating component of this series, does it remind you of any other matchup, and how do you guys approach that when so much of it's outside your control?
Try not to get distracted by it. I understand that was a huge part of what they do well in terms of the free throw disparity. I know they were number 1 in the league. We were number 30 in the league. When you get into a series, you try to keep yourselves out of that situation, and you understand that it's a point of emphasis for us. Yesterday was rough all the way around, but you can't let it ever be a distraction or something that, to Monty's question, makes you lose your composure in the middle of a game, because it is something you can't control. Like, as mad as you want to get about it, or as much of a talking point it is, like, you still had a chance to win the game. So it's just a matter of doing whatever you can to block it out, understand how you can play defense in a way that gets you out of those situations. But even if it goes against you, understand we're talented enough to overcome it, and it'll be a good feeling if you do.
Steph, have you been surprised to see Gary follow the rotation a bit in recent games?
Like I said, there's a lot of just the way that we're constructed and the way that we operate at times. GP's gone through it, Loon's gone through it, some of our young guys have gone through it. Different combinations, you have to try to figure out what works. And like I said, for GP, it's, in terms of the way that he sees the game and how he can impact it, and just his level of maturity. When he's out there, he performs, and he knows how to impact the game, and not letting himself get frustrated with whatever playing time it is and whatnot. Just trusting that it's all in the benefit of us trying to win. So I know he wants to be out there. Everybody wants to be out there. But again, the way that we're constructed, there's a lot of different combinations you can go to try to open up some momentum and put yourself in the best chance to win based on the matchup, and that's kind of how it is.
Two more. Last game, Steph.
You had, I think it was 12 shots, and it was like celebrated. You had 12 assists. You were making all the right passes. Do you feel the same after this game, where you took 14 shots and you obviously didn't get 127 points? And how do you kind of manage whether you're going for 38 shots or?
I mean, they made an adjustment in terms of their matchups to try to take away our pick and roll in the pocket, passing, and that 4-on-3 advantage we have on the backside, and Draymond being in a sweet spot. Like, they obviously understand that's when we're at our best. So we'll make adjustments.
You mentioned last night that you didn't say it was just a defensive thing, but you said not as much on offense. So it was more your defensive issues. Do you go over the film? Is that something that you're still thinking?
Wait, say that again, sir?
You said it wasn't as much about the offense last night for you guys. You didn't say it was only the defense, but you said that more about the defensive issues than it was about offense. Do you believe that?
Yeah, because that's more, like I said last night, is like connecting the game in the sense of we had a couple offensively. There's a segment in the second quarter during that run they had where we were the offensive part, we were a little chaotic in terms of our spacing, trying to force stuff that wasn't there, weren't getting the cleanest of looks or having turnovers, and then that fueled their transition offense, it fueled their ability to create advantage and get to the free throw line a lot of different ways, and then it slowed the game down on the other side. So obviously you don't want D'Lo to get going crazy like he did in the first quarter, because that kept him afloat while they were trying to settle in. And then because of the transition, the free throws and all that, they got a lot more comfortable, and I think that fueled their offense in the third quarter, where our defense just was not impactful at all in terms of taking away their actions or being, the aggressor and all that type of stuff that you need to do in a playoff series, especially on the road. So it's all kind of connected, but it seemed like that 5-6 minute stretch in the second quarter dictated the entire game.